right, guys, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have from Team Root. He managed to just take out Trimaster. He's now sporting some purple, and he's Masa. He's facing off against his opponent in the top right-hand corner, clad in the red. Here for complexity, guys, it's Minigun.
That's right. So, Minigun in what will be his last match as a complexity member before switching over to Root, of course. We'll see what he's able to accomplish here. These games were also played before the STC signed with Complexity, so he was not available for this match. So we'll see what both these teams are going to bring out as we move forward, though. The map, as we said before, is Daybreak. I'm kind of glad that we're seeing this without a Zerg player on it. I think X versus Zerg matchups have been played out quite a bit on this map, and
that's kind of funny.
It'll be nice to see this.
It definitely has been played out. For some reason, Kevin, the moment, maybe it has to do with you. When you went to Mexico, we just had TVPs. Just TVPs, man. So many Terran versus Protoss. And actually, Tim and I started a little cheer when we finally saw a Zerg player, because it was almost like we weren't playing StarCraft anymore.
Oh, and look at this. Masa was trying to hide some SCVs over the back here to make it look like he was proxying a structure somewhere on the map, but Minigun immediately sent that that probe down to the right and picked up on it and found out that it is, in fact, just a command center first.
Huh. Well, SCV will now be heading to the low ground, and okay, he's going to build it as a wall. That'll be a little bit difficult, but meanwhile, Minigun, he's working on his gas. His gateway's halfway done, and I expect him to expand behind this, honestly. It is Daybreak, after all.
Yeah. We have seen a little bit of aggression out of our players, though. Trimaster in game number 1, outright 2-racks aggression. In game number 2, decided to also go for that gas right after the barracks before expanding. Decided to go quickly into factory, but didn't really get much done with it. This probe was one hit away from dying, but it's going to recover some shields here momentarily. And there it is, 1 point of shields. That's all I
those
needed.
are...
there it goes.
And then wow. No double tap cola needed for that one. Masa going to clean that probe up mighty easily, and he's going to head out for a scout. And he'll see a Nexus going down, which is, well, Minigun. He actually didn't mine any gas off that assimilator. Mm-hmm. None at all. Played it very, very tight.
Exactly. By the time that his probe made his way over to the base, he had to build that assimilator, so he didn't skip anything in his build order. And so often Protoss players will do that, of course. They'll start to build that assimilator. Oh, you're going for command center first? Well, I don't want to gas right now. I just want a Nexus as quick as possible. And they'll just wait on everything else till they get those 400 minerals.
Yep. So, and the important thing here is, it slows down your Nexus, but it speeds up your gas. If you instead went for the Nexus and then drop the gas afterwards, yes, your Nexus is, 75 minerals, so it's they're mining a lot of gas, so it's 10 seconds faster or so, a little bit less than that. But if you drop the gas after the Nexus, of course, that 30-second construction time, well, now you have to wait 30 seconds before you can actually start mining. Right. So although it saves you a couple seconds on your Nexus, it saves you a lot of time on your gas, and Minigun's going to get a much quicker warp gate because he dropped that assimilator even though he didn't mine off it.
It also helps you so much too, just in terms of flexibility, because if he would have gotten to his opponent's base and it hadn't been a command center first, let's say it had been 2 racks, well, then you can bet he wouldn't want to put down that Nexus. He wants to start mining that gas ASAP, get up to a robotics facility or something like that, or multiple gateways, and start warping in units immediately.
Yeah, completely true. So Minigun is playing very middle of the road right now. We'll see if Masa opts to go for either of the extremes. One of the things they say about Balanced is, it has the ability to punish aggression because it does have that element of safety to it, but it tends to be at a deficit against very greedy play. Minigun could, of course, transition into some sort of aggressive maneuver, but Masa, if Minigun continues playing with this playstyle, if Masa plays very greedy, should pull ahead.
Oh, that poor SCV was just sitting and taking it down to the bottom right-hand corner.
Run, yeah.
I know. That's just when you've given up all hope. He was peering over the edge, contemplating.
You're the SCV, and you just turn the little switch on your jetpack that makes it not work anymore.
Aw, that's so sad. Why wouldn't he have just I don't know, for the world, and just jumped off the edge?
Daybreak's the perfect map. He would float because he'd be stuck out there. That would be terrible. That'd be like stuck in limbo. In Inception, you just endlessly float at one point, finally, after 90 years of solitary existence.
Be better than getting killed by a stalker, I think, though. At least he has some sort of a chance of survival. But anyway, I digress. We have 4 Marines that are running up now around the 2 stalker pressure that Minigun had sent out. So this could do a little bit of damage, and in fact, 1 worker's already died, 2 workers have already died.
Ooh,
well
nice
done.
Target firing, actually. He's clicking on these probes individually. 3, 4 workers at least.
Yeah, this has been great. Another one goes down, and another one falls. How many did he end up killing?
Oh, my
9
goodness.
workers, 10 workers now. Absolutely fantastic play, and Minigun's economy is severely hampered.
This is a difficult position now for Masa, as is evidenced obviously by the chat between Root and Complexity, but you lose 10 workers this early in the game. I mentioned a lot, I used to watch Idris stream, and he would get into his opponent's base and kill off like 3 or 4 workers. He'd be like, okay, this game's over now.
Yeah.
And 10 workers is pretty decisive. Minigun's going to have a hard time coming back from this. He knows it, so he's going for a very quick third.
Yeah, Sasquatch very colorfully explaining what I was about to just a second ago. As you mentioned, the third Nexus. You take that big of a loss, you've got to do something to compensate for it. His method is to let's get down that third Nexus. Of course, this keeps him susceptible to some sort of a big attack that would hit here sometime soon. But if he's able to pull that off, that Nexus goes undetected for a little while, then Minigun not just pulls right back into this, but maybe a little bit of an advantage too.
Yeah, the Protoss going for the expansion, they do get the least amount of benefit, but this is still exactly what Minigun needs to be doing. By least, I mean compared to Terran and Zurich, who have extreme benefits from extra expansions. But in this situation, he really doesn't have too many options. I love the call. We'll see if Moss is able to capitalize on the fact that Minigun's really not going to have many units.
Right.
Or if instead he plays pretty passive as he's taking the third base right now. He's got some medevacs about to pop out, but he's not going to have combat shields, so he may be reluctant to push.
Yeah, combat shields +1, though, going to finish at around the same time. He's going to have, about 6 medevacs by then, so he could make a push. That's certainly not any sort of a design timing from the beginning, but he could do a little bit of damage there. Looks like he may even decide to go a little bit earlier than that, but you mentioned it before, it is kind of an awkward moment to go because your +1's nowhere close to being done. You don't have that combat shield yet.
Yeah, Minigun definitely has the potential to hold this push off. We'll see what he can do. The positioning battle is going to be a little challenging. Has he seen the third base yet? Well, if he hasn't, he's about to. Monza is moving into that location. There's the Marine poking in, sees it, sees the units, and we'll see if this prompts Monza to turn around and try to attack up the natural.
All right. Well, yeah, that's not enough forces right there to be able to take on multiple Immortals, multiple Zealots, Sentries, all that. It was a decent moment. If you don't think about what upgrades weren't finished for Masa and you purely think about it in terms of what had just finished up for Minigun, it was a decent time to go because right when that Nexus finishes is when it's most susceptible. It hasn't derived any sort of an economic benefit. If you kill it right then, it's 400 minerals down the drain.
Yeah.
But Masa just didn't have the oomph in his force to be able to make it work.
Well, Minigun's going to go try to hold this drop-off. We'll see if he can succeed. He doesn't have units in position right now at all. He's actually got very little anti-air. This is extremely smart out of Masa. One pylon's going to immediately fall. Stalker's caught by the concussive shells. Marauders are going to trap these Immortals as well, getting in serious damage, but as a Colossus appears, these units will be chased off. Someone want to... What?
No, I was just adding it up in my head really quick. Between... I didn't mean to cut you off, I apologize.
No.
Between killing an Immortal, a pylon, canceling a structure, and only losing 2 Marines in the process, yeah, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, okay. That was like a sigh of well, that's damn, Masa. He did get a nice advantage there. Minigun saves the day, of course, with the Colossus. But Minigun, right now, he's only been producing probes, actually, this entire time. Is it hotkeyed yet? It's still not. If you look at his Control 5, he actually doesn't have his third Nexus on hotkey. I've been watching his probes. He has yet to make 3 probes at a time ever. This Nexus is about to be full on Chrono. That slows down your economy a lot. He's also all been pulling money, but now the attack is coming in for Masa. We're going to see what kind of economics he can get in right now, killing lots of probes. Units coming to try to deny the Nexus falling at least, which will be successful, but he's lost a lot. Nice force field, though. He is going to manage to get some units at least in Retribution.
Yeah, so a little bit of damage there, but man, Masa has just been on point the entire game. With these little multi-pronged strikes, this is of course the bane of a Protoss player's existence, because if you split up your forces, then usually you get a big attack right at one side of those. And Masa now working off of 3 base economy so well, up by 25 supply. He's up by only 5 workers at the moment, but of course has those additional mules, so his economy still is a lot stronger than Minigun's.
Yeah, it is. Minigun is at a little bit, actually, let's take a look at the difference right now, 58 to 66. So our Terran player not only has a worker advantage, remember he has mules on top of that, Minigun still hasn't got, oh, he did hotkey finally the third Nexus in, but he's pulling so much money, I'm just really surprised we're not seeing him make 3 at a time.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Minigun has going for him at the moment is that Masa sees a Colossus with range, but as you notice, he's completely switching out of Colossi altogether. We see the Templar Archives, we see the charge lots being produced, and Masa's biting on this pretty hard. He's producing Vikings 3 at a time. He's got a ton of them, so they'll instantly take down that Colossus, but won't have too much to do with the rest of the forces. Now, of course, if Masa attacks right now, he's going to kill that Colossus, and there's going to be no Templar that can actually take advantage of this.
Yeah.
So this is not a bad moment for Masa to strike.
It's not at all. He's got a number of Vikings here that's going to be really, really good for dealing with that Colossus. Minigun is, well, positioned at the 3rd expansion right now. It does have the Observer flying over the army. We'll see if Masa takes note of this.
And here we go. Finally, there are a couple of Templar up. They'll turn into Archon here, hopefully, in just a second.
Yeah, no Storm.
And looks like he's thinking about trying to feed back these medevacs. Does manage to snag 1 and 2, so now we have a completely, or an army that actually can't heal itself ever. It's still very, very strong, but there's more medevacs that need to be created for Masa ASAP.
Oh, nice force fields. Chopping this army of Masa in half. He's going to be able to clean up the front. Perfect amount of Zealots here. Okay, a couple extra, but overall, this is a very nice hold from Minigun, doing exactly what he needs to do here versus Masa, but he did expend a lot of energy, so this follow-up attack could be a lot, but look at these units. They're so low on health because of not having medevacs. He's actually going to get repelled in a situation where elsewise he may have been able to continue the pressure. Beautiful play here out of Minigun.
All right, well, the lack of medevacs really starting to hurt Masa now, and he is starting to reproduce those, but of course this is that very troubling moment for Terran players, because Protoss players can then decide, all right, well, now you've just made a bunch of ghosts, your Vikings are all gone, how about I start making Colossi again? Then how about I start making Templar? And you eventually build up to that ridiculous late-game army that Terran players require great positioning to be able to deal with. And now we see 2 more robotics facilities going down, so 3 Colossi at a time are going to be able to be produced whenever Minigun decides to move right back into that unit.
It's going to be pretty powerful indeed. Storm is halfway done. This could be a timing a little for Masa to go for a strike. You know, right when he got his units back and healed them up, could have moved out immediately, and Minigun would actually have no splash damage. Masa would have had a full army complement with medevacs to boot, but in this situation, well, now even if he pushed out at this moment, Storm would be completed, and it's going to be a little bit tougher for Masa from this point. He's still at a 40 supply advantage, which is definitely noteworthy, but not where he was earlier.
Okay, so Minigun's 4th base just about finished. The next command center is only halfway done for Masa. He's been sitting on these 3 bases for an extremely long period of time. When he had map dominance before, I'm not sure why he wouldn't have gone for another base there. He certainly had the resources to be able to put that down at some point. Zealot was trying to play hide and seek. Fortunately, it didn't work out for him, and he gets slaughtered.
He needed to play more games as a child. That's where you get good at games like that, honestly.
You don't just Ire is not very good for early childhood development. Never has been. Real problem they have to.
It's the whole reincarnation thing.
Yeah.
And just like, why focus on childhood when you just live again anyway?
We're gonna be immortals, so.
Yeah.
All right. Masa now is pushing out with a very large force. He is maxed. His upgrades are going to finish none too soon, so. If he actually waits for those to finish up, Minigun is going to be very close to max out too. If he doesn't, then he's going to, or if he doesn't decide to wait for those, of course, he's going to be at a slight upgrade disadvantage.
Yeah, it is 2-2 for Minigun. So looking like he's guaranteed to, he's forced into engagement at this point with the position he's got now. Ghosts catch everything though, and this is really bad for a Minigun. He's falling back, but already he's lost 50 supply. Masa still maxed out entirely, and he may be able to just run away with his game from here.
Sasquatch, tell us what you really feel. As Masa now going to push in for a very strong strike, manages to take out the 3rd base down to the right-hand side, has his units in a great position to be able to deal with the Zealots that are charging forward. Only 1 more Colossus remaining, and down already pretty far in hit points. And Masa looks like he's about to take his 2nd game in a row here for Root. And that is unfortunate for Complexity's Minigun. Looks like he's about to fall.
And for Team Complexity in general, this is going to put them down 2-1, but Masa got to be very happy on a 2-0 run here. Could be the beginnings of an all-kill, Kevin.
All right, well, we'll see here as Minigun immediately loses a Colossus as soon as it pops out of there. There's GG. Root wins the game. They go up 2-1 in the best of 9.
Cleanly played out of Masa overall, especially going back to those probes dying in the early game. I mean, wow, what 5 Marines can do is astounding.
Okay, well, that's 2 players down now for Complexity, and it looks like we are actually finally going to get a Zerg player coming in. Now it's going to be Rise.
So a Terran versus Zerg, going to be pretty exciting stuff. Guys, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, but I do want to let you guys know. We've been getting very interactive with the music experience here. We want to bring you guys a higher quality of broadcast overall. So we want to ask for your help. Been running a lot of tracks, new tracks lately, as I'm sure you guys have noticed. And this especially goes out to all of our IPL subscribers. You guys are going to hear a song called I Remember during this break. If you like it, tweet at IPL Tunes. Let us know. If not, also let us know. We will then be able to decide if we want to add it to the rotation for you guys and keep things moving here. So looking to you guys to help us pick some tracks. Give us your thoughts at IPL Music. Thanks, and we'll see you after the break.